Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Historical Society and this wonderful evening, this book launch for our history of Temple City. My name is Matt Byers, and I am the entertainment chairman for our Historical Society, and it's my privilege to welcome all of you to this evening. It's so great to be all together in this wonderful fellowship under this common bond of Temple City. And tonight we have just a special opportunity to have this shared experience that will be brought to us by the author of our book, Donna Georgino. Before I bring Donna up, I just want to introduce our other board of directors for the Historical Society. Mitzi Franco, who is not here. I think she's on the East Coast with the children. George Gould, back here waiting for her. John Howie. John. Debbie Mastretta. Mary Sneed. And Don Karen in the back there. Now, just so you know, our next general membership meeting will be Sunday, April 13th at 2 o'clock. And we have a very special speaker, Temple City Unified School District music or arts specialist, Rihanna Fury, is going to be sharing. And so you are all invited to come on out for that evening at 2 or afternoon, 2 o'clock. But please feel free to come a little early to see some of the new displays and whatnot in the museum. She's going to be speaking on an elementary VAPA program and also the school district art program. So, wonderful program brought by Rihanna. Our dear friend, Donna Georgino, is such an accomplished person. I mean, all of you here know her, and if you don't know her, get to know her. She is not only the heart of the city's history, but she is just a gem of a person that represents our community in so many ways. School board member, every other board that I'm on. And really just a treasure of information and a real hub in terms of bringing the various aspects of all of us from Jerry and photo history and all the others of you that are here contributing to the Historical Society or contributing to the history of Temple City. Donna is the hub that just gets that information together and does such a great job posting things and for our city and for Temple City. And it has made it just such a joy. So it is my privilege to introduce Donna as she does her presentation.
Well, that's a real honor coming from Matt because he's really made his impression here in Temple City, and so I feel honored to have him say such nice words. We're going to need a couple minutes to get the lights turned off and the screen on, and then we're going to do a little presentation. Yay!
Okay, hold on one second.
Hey, thank you, Ari. Don't you love young people? Well, thank you again, everyone, for being here tonight. This book was a project taken on by the Historical Society of Temple City more than 2 years ago to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the founding of Temple City. For those of you that have yet to purchase a book, tonight I'm going to share some highlights in hopes that afterwards you will want to learn more about the history of Temple City and will buy a book. For those of you that have already purchased a book, I will try to entertain you with some additional historical information and stories beyond what we are able to put in the book. So hopefully there will be something for everyone. I think most people know that Walter Temple was the founder of the town of Temple, but did you know that William Workman was his grandfather? In the 1800s, the Workman and Temple families were two of the most prominent families in the greater Los Angeles area. In fact, Walter's uncle, Jonathan, opened the first store and the first theater in Los Angeles on land that he called the Temple Block. Later, Walter's father acquired the property, and along with his father-in-law, William Workman, they opened a bank. Unfortunately, the bank failed in the long depression of the 1870s, and the property was sold at auction, causing a distraught William Workman to commit suicide. In the 1920s, the Temple Block was remade to become the location of the current Los Angeles City Hall. There's really so much interesting history connected to the Workman and Temple families that if you haven't visited the Homestead Museum in the City of Industry, I would highly encourage you to do so. There you will find William Workman's home and Walter Temple's home. Also, you will find the family cemetery and mausoleum where members of the Workman and Temple families and Pio Pico, the governor of Alta California, are interred. Here is a photo of Walter Temple and his family, wife Laura and children Thomas, Walter Jr., Edgar, and Agnes. Thomas is the oldest child, and he is standing to the right of his father. When Thomas was 9 years old and the family was living a very modest life in an adobe in the Montebello Hills, Thomas was the one who discovered oil on the family property. It is with the money obtained from selling the oil rights that Walter was able to purchase land to establish the town of Temple. This is R. Thornton Smith and his wife, Elsie. Smith is a very important person in the making of this book because he took almost all of the pictures that are featured in chapter 2, which covers the Temple Town Site Company years of 1923 to 1930. Smith was in real estate and took the pictures to promote selling property in the new town. For a while, he was also the postmaster in the town of Temple. The Historical Society is very fortunate to have a volunteer willing to do research for us. David Randall is a TCHS grad, and his grandfather used to own the mortuary on the corner of Workman and Temple City Boulevard. I asked David to see if he could find any reason why Smith, who was born in Missouri, might have ended up in the new town of Temple. According to David's research, in the 1920s, R. Thornton Smith's in-laws lived in San Gabriel. He came to Temple City from Nebraska after his only son was arrested for robbing a post office and was then killed trying to escape from jail. So that seems like a pretty good reason to leave town. Later in life, the Smiths spent time in Northern California living next to their only grandson, but eventually moved back to the San Gabriel Valley and are buried at the San Gabriel Cemetery. This is one of my favorite pictures. It is of the track map for the town of Temple. As you can see, the town of Temple was a planned community. The streets were laid out in a grid style with the smallest lots near the downtown area, and there was a park next to the trolley station. One of the most interesting things to look at on this map are the street names. You are probably familiar with Main Street and Sunset Boulevard that were later changed to Las Tunas Drive and Temple City Boulevard. Some of the ones you probably hadn't heard of, Live Oak was originally Azusa Avenue, which explains why there is a Lower Azusa. I always wondered why we had that. Camellia was once Temple Avenue. Oak was once called Potter Avenue. Cloverleaf was called Ramona Avenue, and Primrose was called Dupree Avenue. I've not found any explanation why the street names were changed, except for Dupree, which was said to be changed because it was too hard to pronounce. The street was originally named after Sylvester Dupree, Walter Temple's business associate, and one of the four original investors in the town of Temple. You may know him as the builder of the Pyrenees Castle in Alhambra, where Phil Spector murdered Lorna Clarkson. Dupree made a comeback in Temple City about 10 years ago when a new cul-de-sac off Olive Street was built and named Dupree Circle. The property on the southwest corner of Baldwin and Roland is also interesting because it is not part of the subdivision, and even today some of that is in the city of Arcadia. Back in the 1920s, this was the area in which the local baseball team, the Merchants, used to play their games. As I was doing research for this book, I kept coming across pictures of this building and wondered why we had so many pictures of a building in another city. Come to find out, the building was not in another city, it was in Temple City. Walter Temple knew that in order to encourage people to move to the town of Temple, the community needed a church. The Temple Town Site Company offered the Mountain View Methodist Episcopal Church 2 lots for a church building and 1 for the parsonage on the southwest corner of Golden West and Woodruff Avenues, right behind us. The church accepted and changed their name to Temple Community Church Methodist Episcopal. The building was torn down circa 1960 and replaced by the buildings that are currently occupied by the Methodist Church. The picture on the left is the first commercial building in the town of Temple. Hope you recognize it. It's built on the corner of the northwest corner of Main and Sunset, or as known today, Temple City Boulevard and Las Tunas Drive. The building housed 2 businesses, Temple Hardware and Temple Pharmacy. Temple Hardware opened in March 1924, 5 days before Temple Pharmacy, and thus became the first business in the town of Temple. The picture on the right is of the Temple Hardware owned by the Sears family who lived on Primrose Avenue. Herbert Sears died in 1940, and Mrs. Sears kept the store until 1950, when she moved to Pasadena so her daughter would be closer to high school. Laura Sears, as shown as a young child in this picture, was a budding opera singer when she was in high school. Laura was coached by Maestro Guido Casaloti, father of Adriana Casaloti, the original voice of Snow White. Walter P. Temple convinced the Pacific Electric Railway Company to extend their Sangerville line to the town of Temple. The line was completed in 1924 and terminated at Temple Park, where it turned around and went back to Los Angeles. The station for the line was located where City Hall currently resides. Due to the increased popularity of cars in the 1930s, ridership declined and cable cars soon became unprofitable. The line was discontinued in 1941 and the tracks were removed shortly afterwards. This is a picture of the 1926 Armistice event put on by the American Legion in Temple Park. The guest speaker was Mabel Willebrandt, daughter of Temple residents Mr. and Mrs. D.W. Walker, who lived on Encinitas. Mabel Willebrandt is known as the First Lady of Law because she served as a U.S. Assistant Attorney General from 1921 to 1929. Among her duties, Willebrandt headed the division in the U.S. Justice Department dealing with federal taxation, federal prisons, and matters pertaining to the enforcement of the Volstead Act, which was prohibition. She served under Presidents Harding and Coolidge, and later she had a career as a private attorney. Willebrandt was featured in a 2011 Ken Burns documentary, and the HBO series Boardwalk Empire featured a character based on her. In late 1927, it was decided that the town of Temple needed a new name to avoid confusion at the post office. A contest was held and a 3-person committee was formed to select the winning name from over 200 entries. Anyone living to the east of San Gabriel Boulevard, west of Baldwin Avenue, north of Olive Street, and south of DeWarty Road was eligible to submit a suggestion. The winning name was Santa Rita, and the anonymous person who submitted the name asked that the $25 prize money be given to the Temple Community Church. Okay, obviously we're not called Santa Rita, so what happened? Not everyone liked the winning name, including a local historian and friend of Walter Temple's, J. Perry Worden. Worden wrote a letter to the editor of the Temple City Times lambasting the idea. In the end, the postmaster announced that a compromise had been reached and the new name would be Temple City. Not much of a compromise, huh? In 1928, the Temple Chamber of Commerce entered a float in the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade. The description in the official program says, another of the small communities, Temple shows peaches from Delaware by way of South Santa Anita School. Large baskets of them in heather and rose settings. The harmonica band from the school showed that the community could also supply its own music. So you can see in the background the children there are from South Santa Anita School. Over the years, Temple City has had 12 floats in the parade, and the Temple City High School Band has marched in the parade twice. And speaking of the Tournament of Roses, in 1950, General Dwight D. Eisenhower was chosen as the Grand Marshal of the 1951 Rose Parade. At the time, Eisenhower had just been selected as the Supreme Commander of NATO, and circumstances required that he go to Europe on New Year's Day. The honor of Grand Marshal was then given to a 21-year-old Marine named Robert S. Gray, who was wounded twice in Korean battles and was home in Temple City recuperating from his most recent injury obtained at the Battle of Chosin Reservoir. As a fill-in for General Eisenhower, Corporal Gray was featured on the cover of the January 15, 1951 issue of Life magazine. For young people like you, Ari, that's a big deal. You probably don't know about Life magazine. Because we do not have an original photo of Robert Gray appearing in the photo, we were not able to include this in the book. But it's a really cool story about someone from Temple City, so I thought I'd share it with you tonight. For almost 40 years, South Santa Anita School was the only school serving the children of Temple City. The school originally served 1st through 12th graders, but eventually became an elementary school. The name of the school was derived from the school's proximity to the southern boundary of Rancho Santa Anita. This picture of South Santa Anita School was taken in 1930. 16 years later, the school's name was changed to Longden School. Contrary to popular belief, Longden Avenue was not named for the famous jockey Johnny Longden, but for Orray W. Longden, a prominent citizen of San Gabriel who was a Los Angeles County supervisor. Longden died in 1905 and the street was named in his honor. Most of the original buildings at Longden School have not survived over the years, except for the auditorium, which you can see at the left-hand side of the picture, which leads me to our next slide. Philip Memoli taught band and orchestra to Temple City elementary school students in the late 40s and early 50s. Prior to teaching in Temple City, Memoli, an accomplished musician, played with the Los Angeles Philharmonic and worked as a musician for MGM Studios. He began teaching music at University High School in West Los Angeles, where he replaced his son who was killed in a boating accident. Later, he retired to live in Temple City, but retirement didn't take, and he became a full-time music director for Longden and Cloverly schools. Memley composed the Temple City Camellia emblem and led the Temple City Community Band. The auditorium at Longden School was named in his honor and is still known as Memley Hall. After completing college in only 3 years, William Bill Schmidt began teaching math to 8th graders at Longden School in 1955, but spent the majority of his teaching career at Oak Avenue. He was one of California's first blind teachers to teach sighted children. Mr. Schmidt eventually became a principal and administrator in the Temple City School District. He left Temple City to become the first blind superintendent in the nation of a public school district. Mr. Schmidt has quite a legacy in Temple City. Every time the Historical Society posts something on Facebook or Instagram about him, we get tons of people commenting about what an amazing man and great teacher he was. And I had him as a teacher. I was one of those lucky ones. You too, Kathy? When the Temple City community voted to unify the school district in 1954, the Temple City Junior High School campus on Oak Avenue became Temple City High School. It was used as Temple City High School for 2 years while the new campus on Lemon Avenue and Temple City Boulevard was being built. In 1956, the new TCH campus was dedicated, although students had classes on both campuses and had to walk back and forth between them. This is a photo of students walking from the campus on Oak Avenue through the dirt to get to their new classrooms. And look at how the girls are dressed. In the background is what is now the band room. Once the new campus was able to accommodate all the high school classes, the campus that was originally Temple City Junior High School became Oak Avenue Junior High. When looking for land where Temple City High School could be built, a 10-acre site owned by California Institute of Technology that was being used for experimental farming was chosen. This is an aerial view of the TCHS campus circa 1960. The Caltech property came with a 2-story building that was located on Temple City Boulevard. And you can see it, you can see it right there, kind of in the middle, the 2-story building. The Caltech, in the first several years of Temple City High School, the building was used for science classes. The house and barn north of the 2-story building also came with the Caltech property. The house was used as a faculty retreat, which I think is like a faculty lounge, until it was torn down to make room for the construction of additional classrooms. The black and white picture is of Simone Schaller. She competed in the 80-meter hurdles at 2 Olympic Games. At the Los Angeles Games of 1932, Schaller tied Babe Dietrichson Zacharias for the world record in a preliminary round. She went on to place 4th behind Dietrichson, who set another world record. At the 1936 Berlin Games, Schaller was eliminated at the semifinals. The color picture is of the married Simone Schaller Curran. The Curran family lived across the street from Temple City High School, where beginning in 1967, Mrs. Curran worked in the cafeteria at Temple City High School for over 20 years. Simone Schaller Curran passed away in 2016 at the age of 104. And I think Jerry used to play tennis with her, huh, Jerry?
Yes.
Was she a good tennis player?
Excellent.
Yes. And this is another story that didn't appear in the book because we didn't have an original photograph, but I thought it was really cool. Wow. Temple City High School has produced some impressive graduates, but these are 2 of the most distinguished. On the left is Kent Cullors. In 1967, Kett was the valedictorian of Temple City High School. Blind from birth, he earned a PhD in physics from the University of California, Berkeley. He's the world's first blind physicist and believed to be the world's first blind astronomer. Dr. Cullors worked for NASA's search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He has a planet named after him and was portrayed as the fictional character Kent Clark in the movie Contact. On the right is Steve Lindsay. Steve was an Eagle Scout from Troop 161 and graduated from Temple City High School in 1978. He attended the Air Force Academy, and in 1995, he was selected to be a NASA astronaut, where he manned 5 space shuttle flights and logged over 1,500 hours in space. In 2015, he was inducted into the United States Astronaut Hall of Fame. I'm gonna get a little bit of water real quick. Thank you. Temple City's first community-wide celebration wasn't the Camellia Festival. It was the Jubilee of Progress. It was sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce and held for 3 consecutive years, beginning in 1939. The multi-day event celebrated the significant growth of Temple City since its founding. Activities included a flower display, pet show, and a parade down Las Tunas Drive with horses and marching units. The event ended with the commencement of World War II. It was not until 1944 that a new community celebration, the Camellia Festival, was established by the Women's Club. And speaking of the Camellia Festival, Nancy Ray Pearson, 8 months old, was the first queen of the Camellia Festival. She was chosen as the 1945 queen because her mother won the sweepstakes trophy at the Chamber of Commerce flower show. Baby Nancy rode down Las Tunas in a Phaeton car transformed into a camellia-decked bassinet. When she reached Temple City Park, she was greeted by the South Santa Anita School Band. On the left is the 1946 Royal Court. These little girls were the only toddlers to ever serve as the Camellia Festival Royal Court. Queen Nancy Harp and Princesses Gail Jean Norton and Cheryl Palmer led that year's Camellia Parade. The picture on the right is of the 1947 Royal Court. This was the first year first graders, including boys, made up the Royal Court, a tradition that continues today. First graders were chosen to make up the Royal Court because it was thought that once they participated in the festival, the children would want to get involved in community youth groups. In honor of California's centennial, the theme of the 1949 Camellia Festival was gold miners. 35 floats and over 3,500 participants marched down Las Tunas Drive. One of the fun things about the Camellia Festival pictures is not just looking at the parade entries, but seeing the businesses in the background. In the background of this picture is a new business in Temple City called the Donut House. It was the first donut house founded by Vern Winchell and soon became known as Winchell's Donut House. Later, Temple City got a second Winchell's located where Cloverleaf is now. At its peak, there were over 1,000 donut houses worldwide. Today, there are about 170 Winchell's and unfortunately none in Temple City. This is a photograph of the Camellia Parade circa 1950 with students from Longden School, formerly South Santa Anita School, marching in the parade. Once again, the business in the background is of great interest. In 1955, a few years after this picture was taken, the Jambazian family opened Wonder Cleaners in the building that says Tempo on it. And this seems like a good time for me to acknowledge Jerry, because he was for many, many reasons. But he was very helpful in putting together this book. Not only did he provide some of the pictures in the book, but he helped me with scanning photographs, and he was always available to answer questions about Temple City's history. So thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
I think you can tell by how the children are dressed in this Camellia Festival Royal Court is from the 70s, 1974 to be exact. They're so cute. The general chairman that year was super volunteer and philanthropist Margie Calmia Speck. Margie served as the unpaid Chamber of Commerce director for 20 years, was in the Women's Club, and volunteered with the Camellia Festival. Margie was very generous and gave money to many organizations, including a large matching donation she made to make improvements to the Temple City Women's Club building so that the Historical Society of Temple City could have a permanent location for the Temple City Historical Museum. So we thank her for that. In 1989, the theme of the Camellia Festival was an old-time country celebration. Walter Temple Jr. was the honorary Grand Marshal of the parade. Although he did not live in Temple City, Temple was involved in many community activities in the town his father founded. Temple died in 1998, and his daughter Josette continued to be active in Temple City until her death in 2020. The tradition continues with the next generation. Walter's great-grandson, Mike Kalin, is with us here tonight, and he's going to be performing when I'm done here, so we look forward to that. So welcome Mike and his wife Denise. In the 1870s and 80s, William Rowland was the sheriff of Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. William was the son of John Rowland, the same John Rowland who came to California with Walter Temple's grandfather, William Workman. To this day, Rowland is the youngest person to have ever served as sheriff. Although he was not sheriff at the time of the founding of the town of Temple, I have to wonder if he had something to do with the establishment of a substation in the new town. The first Temple station was established in 1926 on Sunset Boulevard, north of Main Street. In 1928, it moved to a building on Main Street, east of Sunset Boulevard. The station in this picture was the third Temple station and was built on the corner of Cloverly and Main Street. It served as Temple Station from 1930 to 1939. In 1939, the station moved back to Sunset Boulevard, but this time it was in a building south of Main Street. It remained there until 1956, when it moved to its current location on Las Tunas. The Women's Club of Temple City had their first meeting in 1925. They're going to be celebrating 100 years this year. In 1931, they purchased a lot on the corner of Kaufman and Woodruff Avenues for a clubhouse. The building opened in 1941, and by 1948 was paid for in full. Initially, the clubhouse doubled as Temple City Library. You can see where it says library on the front of it. This is an artist rendering of the Temple City Women's Club building that appeared in the Temple City Times in 1940 while the building was under construction. In the article, the Women's Club is asking 900 residents to donate $1 to assist with construction costs. Ward Kimball was not just an artist and a musician, but he was a railroad aficionado. Here is a photo of Kimball riding his miniature train in his backyard on Arundel Avenue, and a magazine cover of his full-size train called the Grizzly Flats Railroad, also in his backyard. Kimball was an animator for Disney and is credited with inspiring Walt Disney to have a railroad at Disneyland. As a tribute to Kimball, Disneyland Railroad engine number 5 is named Ward Kimball. Sorry. Ward and his wife Betty were very involved in Temple City schools. In fact, Betty was elected as the first PTA president at Emperor School, and Ward directed the Emperor Philharmonic. Who knew Emperor had a Philharmonic? One of the most consequential events in the history of Temple City was when residents voted to incorporate in May 1960. Pictured are members of the first city council being sworn in on the track at Temple City High School. Merrill Fitzjohn, second from the right, served as the first mayor of Temple City. And we're lucky to have our mayor here tonight with us too, Cindy Sternquist. Fitzjohn was a businessman who established Fitzjohn Jewelers on Las Tunas Drive. Fitzjohn Jewelers closed in 2018 after 75 years in business in Temple City. It was a sad day in Temple City in 1961 when 9-year-old Barry Babcock became the first fatality in a Little League baseball game. This is a story I'd heard about, but I didn't know any details. So I contacted David Randall, our volunteer researcher I mentioned earlier, and asked him to do some research on Barry Babcock. David replied that I was not going to believe it, but he had been at a genealogy event and heard someone talking about a boy who died in a Little League game. The story sounded similar to the one David's grandfather, who owned the mortuary on Workman and Temple City Boulevard, had told him years earlier. Turns out the person telling the story was Barry Babcock's cousin, and David volunteered to do some research for him. David shared the research materials with me, which included the police report, the mortuary paperwork, the autopsy findings, and newspaper articles. The story goes that Barry had always wanted to play baseball, but he was so little that as an 8-year-old, he was made the bat boy for the team. The next season, Barry was 9 years old and got to be a player on the team. On May 17th, on the field at Longden School, he was hit by a pitch in the chest, staggered, and fell down. The umpire, Al Milham, and Barry's father tried to revive him. Fire, police, and an ambulance showed up and transported Barry to Methodist Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Barry's funeral was at St. Luke's, and he was buried at Resurrection Cemetery. As you might imagine, the little boy who threw the pitch was very distraught. His name was Mike Haynes, and he was being raised by a single mother. It is said that Barry's father kept in touch with Mike, assuring him that it was an accident and encouraging him to continue playing baseball. The story did not appear in the book because, again, we didn't have an original photo, and all the photos in the book that are required to be original. But I wanted to include it tonight because I believe this sweet little boy who died in such a tragic accident in Temple City, playing the game that he loved, should not be forgotten.
Yeah.
And that brings us to 2023. It was a big year for the city of Temple City because it was a 100-year anniversary of the founding of the town by Walter Temple. There were many celebration activities throughout the year, including a centennial parade, followed by activities in Temple City Park. In this photograph, members of the City Council present board members of the Historical Society of Temple City with a commemorative certificate. I think that's it. Maybe somebody could turn the lights on. I hope you've all enjoyed hearing about the book and some of Temple City's most memorable events. Temple City has such a rich and interesting history that it was a pleasure for me to be able to share it with all of you. If you would like to buy a book, or 10, we're selling them tonight. And just in case you were wondering, all proceeds from the book go to the Historical Society to support preservation and sharing of the history of Temple City. And finally, if you'd like your book signed, I'll be sitting back there and I can sign it for you also. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, great. Well, thank you again. And I'll turn it back to Matt.
Yes.
Great job. Oh, thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Donna, and right, it's such a treasure right here. So Donna is going to take time to sign your books in the back right there. So get your books ready, or if you want to purchase books to gift to other people and have them sign them. Christmas is only how many months away? For the remainder of our program, we have Mike Fallon here to share. Mike, there you are. Mike is the great-grandson of Walter Temple. I have that correctly? And he's here to be part of our celebration here. He is a noted musician and composer, and you also build guitars too. Is that correct? There we go. So he's going to come up and share some music and some words. And Mike, welcome back to Temple City, and we look forward to your presentation.
We'll try that. I knew that my great-grandfather had started the town, and you know, kind of fast forwarding to my generation, my mother's generation, my grandmother's generation, his daughter Agnes. I recall her, you know, when I was just a little boy. I was like to the age of 5 years old, and then she passed at that time. But I remember her like any grandson, you know, and she would play with you like a grandmother would, and she'd play peekaboo with her hair. She had her hair up really tight back then, but it was quite long when she got her hair down. And she met my grandfather. They were both going to separate colleges up in Northern California, and she was introduced to him by Tomas, the elder brother. My grandfather and Tomas were going to the University of Santa Clara, and she was going to Dominican, and said, "Hey, you want to meet my sister?" So they met and got married eventually, and so he had a ranch up in Santa Clara County, and so they lived up in San Francisco and kind of did the ranch thing, and then so Josette, who's the daughter of Walter Jr., my mom and her are first cousins, and so Josette was asked to be my godmother, and so Josette came up to the little town of San Bruno, south of San Francisco at the time, where my parents lived, and that's where I was baptized. So I've known Josette all my life, and anybody that knows her, has even heard of her, knows she's just a blessed, just a wonderful woman, and so very loving and kind. She learned that from her parents, you know, and just a wonderful person. So I'm so glad to be somewhat of a distant part of the Temple City history, you know, very hands-offish when you really consider everything. But thank you very much for inviting us to be here, my wife and I, and thanks again. So I'm going to just play a few songs, and I hope you enjoy them, and we'll have some fun. Yeah. Hear that train a-coming, rolling round the bend. Ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Well, I'm stuck on fortune prison, life is coming on. Yeah, train on roll on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, Mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Bang, bang, shoot, shoot, till that whistle blow, I hang my head and dry. Good job, tree, right? The train I ride, 16 coaches long. The train I ride, 16 coaches long. Well, that long black train got my baby and gone. Yeah, yeah. Train I ride, 16 coaches long. The train I ride, 16 coaches long. Long black baby gone, yeah, yeah. Present for eating that fancy dining car, while drinking coffee and smoking big cigar. When I know I had it good, I know I can't be free. No, I can't be free. Keep on me, and that's what tortures me. Yeah, free me from my prison, railroad chain on my as I go a little far, a little far from the bridge. That's where I want to stay. Let that go somewhere, carry my blues away. Thank you very much. Want to tell you about my baby. You know she gone around. She's about 5'4", from her head to the ground. You know she's around here. Yeah, just about it now. Tell you Lord, she makes me feel so good. Make me feel alright. It's a name at G. G-L-I, the movie up in the shot at every day, in a shot at every way. shot it every night. Yeah, 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 yeah. Take off my baby, you know she comes around 5'4", from her head to the ground, walking up my street, come up to my house, then she knocks on my door, comes to my room. Makes me feel alright. There's an image. Oh. Gonna shout it every way. Gonna shout it every night. Shot it every day. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. This song was a song I wrote. It's called Against the Law. And it's about love that is so great, it should just be illegal. It's just a wonderful thing. My wife and I have been married for 46 years. And yeah, she's just wonderful. And that's just the start of it. Hate to leave you, wanna be with you. The way you treat me, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. She'd be against the law. It's so good. She'd be against the law. Hate when you're not around. Love to hear the sound of your sweet voice under the way. Say you love me, it's so good, it's so good. She'd be against the law. It's so good. She'd be against the law. When I hold you in my arms, I feel alright. I mean, I know I'm in your hands. You're looking at me, that sparkle in your eyes. Well, it's good to know I'm